Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings. You're tuned in to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Happy Saturday. Thank you for joining me this morning. I was sleepy this morning. And that's not like me. Usually I'm popping up like ready to go every morning, but I think the week, events. And then when I got back, I didn't really rest. So send me some energy, hit that super chat. Thank you, Mrs. Phoenix, for hitting that and showing that. Thank you so much. Hit that super chat at the bottom. Give me some stars. Give me some love. I see you all in the chat. Brother Lamont, good morning. Walaikum salam. Brother Victor, walaikum salam. And Mrs. Phoenix. Okay, rest of y'all being a little shy this morning. Man, how y'all feeling after our Savior's Day weekend? Like I said, I'm a little sleepy. But I've been really focused on I've been spending a lot of time in meditation, just to really just feel the fruitfulness of the weekend and the gathering, and to just kind of let it all absorb. So I could at least feel like I was squeezing all the juice out of it. That's what I call it. It's like in the spiritual world, it's like this spiritual juiciness. Like from it, you can just get and extract so much, right? So that's what I've been doing this week. Got me some coffee this morning. Um, so I also have been working on getting things together for you all who own your commemorative Elijah coins. Alicia, good morning and walaikum salam, ma'am. For those of you who have your graded coin with this number on the back, I'm going to be making a announcement this week. I think we might do a little launch party on Thursday. So in lieu of the Mind of an Entrepreneur show, we're going to do a launch party and launch the NFTs. So if you have your commemorative Elijah coin, um, you're going to get an NFT. What does that mean? I'm going to break all that down. You're going to have a digital asset and you're going to have a physical asset. Happy Savior's Day. Welcome, welcome. Sonia Dawson, 52, says, Assalamu alaikum, happy Savior's Day every day. That's right. God morning. All right. Hit that super chat, send some stars, send some love, send me some energy. But yeah, so if you know anything about these digital assets, they sit out there on the blockchain and they will add, and I am building an economic system around the house where your NFT will continue to grow in value. So it's going to mean something to have one of these physical assets. And it's also going to mean something to have a digital asset as we begin to build. And you're going to see very shortly, inshallah, as we begin to build the value of these digital assets, you're going to actually see that you actually own something that you can pass down that is an heirloom. So, as the world begins to understand who the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is, having an artifact from his home, and then, as we talk about right down to the modern times, having a digital asset, okay, is also going to be a very, very valuable and economic thing for you to do. So if you don't have your commemorative Elijah coin, you will not be able to get the NFT. So you're going to need this number on the back here. If you don't have it, this number on the back, and you can't just make up one. If you don't have this number on the back, you're not going to get the NFT. So I would encourage you to follow the instructions on the bottom and get your commemorative Elijah coin right away. So something we should discuss: the Savior's Day sale of $350 ended yesterday. If you are serious about it, you can email me using those instructions. Just go to support.sajdahhouse.com. It's going to give you an email address. Then if you ask me, I might keep that sale going for you. But I want as many of you as possible. We have you do the email and send your address and go through that process. It's because we want to know who you are. I get so many calls from people who, I don't know if they're robots, bots, AIs. There's a company out of South Korea that has been trying to buy our Black Muslim business directory for 4 years. I think they just keep trying to hack it. There's that same company, I believe, is always trying to buy commemorative Elijah coins. So we have you to email in and send your information in. We try to we monitor it, so we try to respond right away just to make sure you're real, because I don't want anybody else having the value that's not a real person, obviously, of this particular physical asset and the digital asset, um, if you're not real. Okay. So we get that a lot. Who is that? Brother Stanley. Walaikum salam. This is exciting news. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all. Marvelous Marva says, Assalamu alaikum. I see Roxanne join the group. Walaikum salam. So welcome. Thank you, Mrs. Phoenix. Hit that super chat button, or support via Cash App, however you want to support the channel. As I told you, we are striving to bring lots of good stuff for you, and you're not being charged a premium to get in. Okay, so as you know, for the last 4 years, I've been building content around the house. We've got lots of stuff that we are working on and getting ready to share with you. So on this ground floor, having this commemorative Elijah coin, both the physical asset and the digital asset, is going to, inshallah, have lots of value for you. Put in the chat if you guys have any questions for me, whether it's about the house. Somebody asked me a question on one of the lives the other day about moving out of the country, and I just kind of gave my perspective on it. If you got any questions about business, something that's happening in the news, if I can speak on it, I'm willing to do that as well. I just keep emphasizing to us, don't be out here getting caught up in no mess. Don't go to church and get caught up in no mess. Don't go to the mosque and get caught up in no mess. Don't go to work and get caught up in no mess. Just don't get caught up in no mess. This is the time, family, for us to reflect on our challenges, reflect on our areas of improvement, and work to heal. Because we all have things that we want and we desire, whether it's a relationship, whether we have a person in mind, whether we have a business in mind, whether we just have a next level that we're trying to go to, whatever that is, whatever we have in mind, we're not going to get there unless we become who we need to be in order to attract what it is that we want, right? So it's be and it is. And when you start desiring things on a divine level, we have to get on a divine level ourselves. And some of us are not there, and it's okay. Some of us are there in certain subjects of our lives and certain aspects, and then some of us are not, right? And so we have to really focus on healing, focus on cleaning up stuff. Take yourself through those healing exercises like forgiveness. Forgive yourself. If there's a mistake you made way back in the day, don't hold yourself accountable for that. Atone and forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not making the progress that you feel like you should have made it. Welcome, Sister Sandra D. Assalamu alaikum. She says, happy blessed Savior's Day, first Saturday marching in. That's right. Forgive yourself for maybe there's progress that you feel like you should have made by now. And forgive yourself for not making that progress. Sometimes we hold ourselves accountable to that, but heal. If you got certain issues. Some of us have issues with jealousy. Some of us don't like nobody doing better than us. Some of us are in the church and in the mosque, at school, at work. We're in certain settings and we don't want nobody doing better than us. And anybody that's doing better than us, we start trying to sabotage them. And we do it in a way where we use our deceptive intelligence so that it can seem like we really are down with that person. We really love that person, but in essence, we really don't. We're just constantly sabotaging. Walaikum salam, Sister Letha. Happy Saturday morning. Happy Savior's Day. So a lot of us um, are doing that kind of self-sabotage. Take a minute to heal. Forget how jealous you are. Forget how mad you are at that other person. Forget it. Figure out who you need to be. Ask yourself, if I want that, who do I need to be? Right? If I want that situation in my life, who do I need to be? Because Allah is not going to bless us and put us in a situation if when we get there, we're not going to add value. If it's just ego, right? The ego is nasty, man, because the ego likes to jump up and down and say, look at me, look at me. The ego wants to be special no matter what. It doesn't care if it's especially good or it doesn't care if it's especially bad. Don't forget to put your questions in the chat. Anything you want to talk about, any subject you want to explore. It's that kind of show today. Hit the super chat button there. Like Mrs. Phoenix did, she gave me some stars. So hit that super chat. Give some stars. Sister Dawn, wa alaikum salam, ma'am. Yeah, so Allah's not going to take us there if we're not going to be adding value. Because that ego, that nasty ego. That ego is like, I want what I want. I see something, I like it. Yeah, let me get that. But if that thing has divinity attached to it too, why would Allah give it to you? If you ain't gonna really know how to handle it? Let's see what you say, sis. Yes, ma'am, you're absolutely right. 100% unity, self-improvement. Just so you know, beloved, I'm Freedom Justice, Omar's Kitchen. Yeah. Okay. Who is that? Nubia Latifa. Wa alaikum salam. Yeah, you just gotta we gotta figure. Let's focus on healing. That should be our number one priority right now. Do we need to lose weight? Let's work on it. Do we need to eat better? Let's work on it. Do we need to love ourselves more? Let's work on it. Do we need to work on our thoughts? Let's work on it. If you're saying, no, I'm sitting here, I'm already good, I do all of that stuff. Well, do you have everything that you desire? Are you at the level that you feel like you need to be? And if you're not, then you need to say to yourself, okay, what more do I need to do? Maybe it's not more. What do I need to do differently? Do I need to be more consistent? Do I need to connect with Allah more? What is it that I need to do? And focus on that. You got to put in the work. You got to heal. You cannot be, for one, you can't be American, and you damn sure can't be Black in America and not be dealing with some trauma. If you say you ain't got no trauma that you're dealing with, you're lying and you're blind. You're still blind, deaf, and dumb. There's trauma. So how do you deal with that? How are you dealing with that? How are you healing from that? What are you like in interpersonal relationships? What are you like to work with? Who are you at work? Who are you at church? Who are you at the temple? What kind of person are you? I know some people, they just always mean mugging. I see some people, I have a person in mind, I'm thinking about, every time I see them, they just looking, mean mugging. It's like, damn, you don't like nobody? There's nobody you can smile at? There's nobody you could give some good energy to? But that's a trauma response. And so be very sensitive. Pay attention to yourself. Sometimes we get triggered and we don't even know it. We find ourselves just doing egregious things, extra stuff, showing out for no reason. Some of us are on here and not on here, and we're depressed. Why are we depressed? Let's work on bringing ourselves out of that depression. How do we crawl up out of that? If we got goals that we're working on and we just feel like, man, I just can't seem to get there, then what do we need to do? What more is there? Some of us just, somebody says one little thing to us, or somebody disagrees and doesn't uh, support us the way we believe we should. They don't. Uh, they don't give us what we want. We feel like we're all supportive of them and they're not. And then we get mad. Then we get triggered. Next thing you know, we fall out. We thinking negatively. We praying against them. How easy is it for you to flip? You got to heal. We have to heal. Some of us are interesting when it comes to love. Let's talk about that for a minute. Some of us, love means ownership, possession. You do what I want you to do. You come into my life and you're of service to me. And this happens with family relationships, mother, daughter, father, son, father, daughter, mother, son. It's all about them and what you do and what you give to me. Some of y'all can't even remember the last time y'all gave something to somebody and did something nice for them. Some of y'all can't even account for the last time you did that. Somebody you say you love. Some of you can't even say the last time you just did something good for them. Some of us, it's all about possession. It's all about ownership. It's all about control. And as long as I can possess, own, and control you, then we good. But if I can't possess, own, and control you, then I'm mad. I don't want to talk. I ain't got nothing for you. Or if you don't agree with what I want to do, then I'm mad. Some people judge people based on what they give them. So if you look around and you don't really have no close relationships with nobody, then you got to heal. And this is no slight against anybody. We just got to work on that. It's something we need to work on, repairing relationships. Stop being so judgmental all the time. Nobody's perfect. Now, by the same token, you got to know when to draw boundaries. You got to know when enough is enough. You got to know when too much is happening, when you're giving too much. And so you don't have to really worry about whether or not you trust somebody. You don't really have to worry about who they are. Just trust them to be who they are. Take a page out of DMX's book. Trust them to be who they are. And then you create your boundaries and you teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. And then you don't have to worry about, if I just let them all the way in, what are they going to do? Well, maybe you're not letting them all the way in because maybe you shouldn't let them all the way in because you don't know them. I'm just throwing these things out here because these are just all things that we need to heal from. Take a look at our parents. How were we raised? What are some of the things that may have been good or may have been bad about how we were raised? Because for most of us, our parents were in survival mode. They was trying to survive and raise us so we could survive. Chances are they made some mistakes. Chances are there's some trauma there and there's some things that we got to heal from. And it's okay. It's okay. Some of us can't make money and we can't make over a certain amount of money because our parents dropped certain seeds in us when it came to money. Some of our parents said, look, you work these amount of hours, you get this amount of money in exchange for it. You be a good little boy and a good little girl, and And then that's it. And you're going to be fine. You're going to have a modest home. You're going to live a modest life. It'll be nice. It'll be consistent. And it'll be steady. And we can't figure out how to break out of that. Some of us, well, in my case, I was taught that I could do anything. I was taught that I could have an extraordinary life. I think I told you all in the last live that I was writing international pen pals at 9 and 10 years old. I was taught that I could be a global citizen. I was taught that I could have whatever I want on an extraordinary level. So that, for example, for me isn't my challenge. Yeah, my parents worked and they worked their job, but they had their little side hustles and all their stuff that they did. And they never let anybody tell them what they could and could not do economically. And so they lived a baller lifestyle. And for whatever it's worth, you can say what you want about that, but that's how they live. And for me, being a sensitive and spiritual person, the way I saw that was I can manifest whatever I want. I just got to get myself in the right vibration and I can manifest it. I can have it. I can earn whatever I imagine I want to earn. I can build and develop whatever I imagine I want to build and develop. I can do whatever it is I imagine that I want to do. And that's how I see things. I just put in the work to figure out how do I keep elevating as a person, so that as I elevate, I'm in different vibrational spaces, I'm in different circles, and I can attract different things to myself. And if I find myself and I get on a plateau, then I know that I got to stop and go, all right, what do I need to work on? What's inside of here? What is something that I do a lot of? What is something that I do on a consistent basis that could be holding me at that vibrational state? And I'm so granular with it that I will do some things and I'll change up and see how it feels. I'll go a different way home. I'll listen to a different genre of music. I'll talk to somebody different. I'll figure out some other vibrational touch point that I need to connect with, whether I change up my exercise routine, change up my food, any of those things that I think could possibly be causing me to plateau, I dig into it. And certain things that when I'm in that plateau that I know I do all the time and I know I do every day, I'll eliminate it for a minute and see what happens. So if I eliminate that one thing, and then I see, well, let's see what happens. If I eliminate it and I elevate, then I go, it was that. Doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It could just be something that we're using that is subconsciously and hypnotically keeping us at a certain level. So this is how we have to be a scientist on this thing. If I start digging in and go, all right, let's heal. I was thinking about, one of the things I have been thinking about is the concept of godhood and becoming a god. And I've been thinking about it for a while. But I started thinking about it a little differently. And I said, okay, I was thinking about the minister talking about us being gods. I was thinking about him, especially talking to us as women, like in MGT class, about being queens. And I started saying, what does that mean? Because we can see it for where we are. So if we are in an ego space, we see it from that aspect. And sometimes we're in an ego space because we need to survive. Maybe we've been abused. And him telling us that we're a god or a queen helps us, because it helps us adjust how people treat us. Uh-oh, sorry, y'all. It helps us adjust how we allow ourselves to be treated. It helps us to draw different boundaries. It helps us to teach people to treat us in a different way. So if we say, okay, I'm a queen, I'm a king, this is how you got to handle me. This is how you got to treat me. And sometimes we have to be in that ego space, and the ego will pop up because it wants us to survive because we've been allowing ourselves to be abused, or perhaps we're abusing ourselves. But beyond that ego space, um, where I go into that a little bit more, where we're looking at it from what it means to us, what comes to us, how people treat me, how people see me, how I deserve to be, how I deserve to live. What's the next level? And I said, what about being a god, or being a queen, or being a king means how you execute, how you manifest, how you take what God gives you that He wants to do and you execute it. What about that? What about God saying, I have an assignment for you? And because you're a God, I'm expecting you to execute a plan to carry out that assignment. And that's what I mean by you being a queen, a king, a God. What about the strategic side of that? What about how we serve? What about elevating how we are of service in this world? What if we are so selfish? And there's not always something wrong with being selfish, but what if we don't really know that we're selfish? We're just like, look, I'm in survival mode. I got to get mine. It's about me, me and mine, me, myself, and I. I got to get mine. It's me, me, me. I'm over here trying to build my business. I'm trying to do what I got to do. This is about me. Um, and what if we're in that space? And then we learn, oh, I'm a god, I'm a queen, I'm a king. What does that mean? How then do we operate in that space? How then do we go to work knowing that we're a queen or a king? Do we go there demanding, or do we go there serving, or is it a combination? How do we live out our divinity as a God? How do we express our queenliness, our throne? How do we express our kingdom, being a king? How do we live that out? What does that mean? And does it mean the same thing for all of us? So that's why it's important to heal and work on coming out of our trauma, because oftentimes we can only see those statements from a space of trauma. We hear the phrase, there's no such thing as a no good. Thank you, Brother Stanley. How did the NFT idea come about? Okay, we'll talk about that. Some of us hear the phrase, there's no such thing as a no good woman. She was only made that way by a no good man. And when we look at that from our trauma, Brother Stanley just gave some stars, y'all. So hit that super chat button, give some stars. Um, when we look at that from a space of trauma, sometimes it's easy for us to not heal and hide behind that as women. And we in turn can be abusive and users. And then when a brother don't act right, we quote that statement, there's no such thing as a no good woman. We were only made that way by a no good man. Some of us are like that. Some of us are looking at it from a space of trauma, in that we've been hurt so badly that it just feels so good to hear that statement. It's soothing, it's comforting, because we went through something and we're like, man, it wasn't our fault. At least I don't think it is. Some of us use it as an excuse to not own our shit, right? Sometimes we got to own our own shit. What did we go along with? What did we participate in? What benefit was we getting out of this situation that ended up leading us to this situation? What were we looking for? Was we looking for something for nothing? It's like a lot of people who get scammed. A lot of times you get scammed, and when we look back at it on American Greed or all that, they like you like they didn't see that. They couldn't tell this person was a con artist, or they couldn't tell this was a scam. Well, they couldn't see it because, oh, thank you, Sister Aletha. They couldn't see it was a scam because they wanted something. They were trying to get something. And they maybe wanted something for nothing. You know, sometimes good people got thievery mentality. So we got to own our shit. So what does that mean? There's no such thing as a no good woman. She was only made that way by no good man. We just keep repeating that, and we say it, and we hide behind it, and we don't own our shit. We think it's an excuse for us to just sit up and be lazy in an abusive situation and stay there. And I'm not putting anybody down that's in an abusive situation that they're trying to get out of, because when you get out of those situations, you got to have a plan. And so maybe you're working your plan. But some of us are there because we're really just lazy. It's the other side of it. And there's no excuse at all for abuse. And I'm not making light of anybody that's in that situation. I hope you all understand that. But what does that mean? Right? So if that's the case, if there's no such thing as a no good woman, she was only made that way by a no good man. If we are operating in our divinity, if we're working on our healing, we're working on how we see things, we're working to connect to our divine feminine, connecting to being the second self of God himself. A lot of people don't like that, but God made us and we're second to him. I could go into that. I'm gonna leave that alone. That doesn't mean that you're second rate, lower level. Doesn't mean that. But when you connect to your ancient divinity, for me, I can feel the trillions of years that I've been on this planet. I can feel myself back to rulers and developers and conquerors that are thousands of years old. I can feel the vibration. They ride with me. And why I'm here on this planet right now at this day and time is an answer to their prayers. I'm real clear on that. So what that means then is that I have to function and stay in my divinity so that I'm rotating and vibrating, right? Around, let's take the male-female thing route, go, right? With a man who comes to me, who's in his divinity, who also sees my divinity. See, it's trauma if you see my divinity, but you don't see your own divinity. That's not healthy. So you got to be in your divine so that you can see my divine and become a help meet, and that divinity grows together. So when those two entities come together, there's like an explosion, like the Big Bang Theory, and it becomes almost unstoppable and uncontrollably productive. So that doesn't always mean from a standpoint of how somebody does me, how somebody treats me, how somebody handles me. It's not ego. It's not always ego. So what I'm saying is, when we hear these statements, when we learn about these kind of things, when he says accept your own and be yourself, there's that basic level related to that. We don't know who we are. We've been robbed of our name, our culture, our religion, our mind, everything. propaganda that's kept us asleep, all of that. But then what's the divine response to that? And what is that doing on a divine level? This is where I'm encouraging us to go. And oftentimes we can't see it unless we heal. Okay. So Brother Stanley said, how did the NFT idea come about? So I'm always thinking about um, technology and the evolution and expansion of this world that we live in. Because I see the world across timelines. So I'm not a person that sees the world just in this timeline or this dimension. I see it across timelines. I can think about what was it like when people were riding on horse and buggy and then all of a sudden cars came out. What was that like? That changed the world. What was it like when everybody was farmers and then all of a sudden people start working in factories and we start processing and manufacturing stuff? What was it like before there was a telephone and then all of a sudden you could call somebody across the world? What was it like? What was it like before those of us that live in Illinois and Iowa and places like that, when this was all prairie land, rugged, no roads, trees and rocks? What was it before the roads? What was it like before everything got cut out and leveled and we created roads that we could ride horses on or drive on or whatever? What was that like? So I always think about how God always uses technology, well, what is called technology today, to advance society or to change society. I was just looking at the Woman King the other day, and I remembered a conversation from when I was in that area of Benin, in Ouida, in Granville, in the Dahomey Kingdom. And I remember somebody saying, I think it was a tour guide that said, the white man was nothing before the gun. They could not whip us. They couldn't defeat us. But when they came in with those guns, we was messed up. So what does certain inventions and certain new things that the mind produces, what do those things do for the world? And in every case, usually the existing society rejects them. What was it like before there was a light bulb and you had to bring your lighter into the room and light the candle? And I think about the World's Fair in Chicago. I think it was 1918 or 19, when they lit up the World's Fair with all light bulbs. And it was like a sight to be seen. What was it like when there was no street lights? And then people started lighting up the street. What did people say? Did they reject it? So when I think about NFTs, blockchain, chat GPT, AI, it's that kind of thing as well. And yes, people will always be able to abuse it, but it can also be something that will move our family forward. The NFT concept and moving so that our brothers and sisters around the world can participate and contribute to this and experience this museum, that's a better word, is utilizing NFTs and putting it on the blockchain, making sure that the value is there. One of the things that happens, I'll tell you another thing that I also looked at was how our history is handled. History in the preservation industry, what most people do is they wait for a benefactor, a donor, or a grant. That's the traditional business model. That's how they build. And in essence, you're at the mercy of that benefactor, that donor, and the experience of the people that you really want to interact with your artifacts or your museum is limited, because it's limited based on how much money you have, and it's limited by the model that we're using. Um, but what happens if we say, no, I want you to experience history on a different level? I'm motivated by the fact that he lives. So, how do I introduce technology that not only helps support the ongoing concern of the museum, but how do I give those who support it a benefit outside of the traditional benefits? Let me know in the chat if that makes sense. How do I do that? Well, I'm not just saying give money to support. First thing I did was I put my life savings, my life value, over $5 million into the home. Because before I asked you all for a dime, I wanted to make sure I had skin in the game. Well, nobody gonna come before you and say, oh, she's scamming, she tripping, because I put everything in there. And I'm still selling stuff and got stuff for sale that I'm willing to put in there, because you won't attach scam with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's name in this museum. So I'm putting my skin and my life into it. So when I ask for something small like $350 for a commemorative Elijah coin, I'm not just saying, give me the money. I want to give you something of greater value than what it is that you contribute. So it's also a lifestyle that I am trying to make sure that I execute and I demonstrate. So $350, but you get an heirloom that is a physical asset you can pass down to your children, that's going to increase in value as we continue to increase the value of the experience, the intangible experience. An experience is something that when you interact with it, it changes your life. We're taught to be fishermen and women. And the duty of the civilized is to teach and train the uncivilized. So spreading a lifestyle, a way of life, showing you the good that is in this particular lifestyle that you can use and benefit in your life right away is part of the theme. And then I said, well, okay, they have a physical asset. Let's give them also a digital asset. Because what if you lose this? What if you die and your children say, oh, this ain't nothing, I'm just going to put it in the alley? Do you know how many people's children have put their artifacts, whether it's from the nation or something historical that they did in the alley because they didn't want it no more? Let's say that happens to you. Well, then there's still a digital asset out there that lives out into perpetuity. And if your children didn't appreciate it, then your grandchildren can come back. Okay? Okay, these people are crazy in the chat. We're going to block them. Then your children can see it. So we talk all the time about, the Dale Carnegies and the Rockefellers and the JP Morgans and the Hiltons. And we go, wow, they children and great-grandchildren and great-great-great-great-grandchildren are still benefiting on what it is that they did. And so this is one of those kind of ways. That was a long way to answer your question, Brother Stanley. But let me know if that makes sense. Thank you, Sister Letha, for the stars. She said, teach, yes, healing our mind, body, soul, and heart is the foundation to our spiritual growth. Discuss how our personal engrams affect our spiritual growth and how to identify and heal from them. And then, okay, I'm going to go into that. Stopping for gas, but you dropping it, Sister Sajdah. Brother Lamont said he at the gas station. All right. I think I hear an evolving benefit beyond a static benefit. That is correct. That is the idea, is for it to evolve. Sister Sandra said that's great. Physical, digital, spiritual value. That makes sense. And okay. All right. Praise be to Allah. So a lot of us know things that we need to work on. And the easiest way to identify or recognize that there are things that we need to work on is to look at how effective we are or we are not. Okay? Whether we need to work on our health, whether we need to work on our finances, whether we need to work on our businesses, whatever it is, a lot of us know there's stuff we need to work on. But a lot of times we can only work on it so far, and then we need some help because we have blind spots. We don't see it. We don't see what's holding us back because we don't want to see it on a subconscious level, or we just don't see it. It's deep. It's like she said, it's an engram. It's way down in there. And so we have to get a coach. We have to get an auditor. We have to get a counselor. We have to get a therapist. We have to get somebody that allows us to talk through things, or people that we can talk through things with, so that we can identify, in essence, what is holding us back. And I always say to people, because I meet people and we are so arrogant, and we're like, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I know I need to lose a little weight, but I'm good. Okay. Are you really? And the reason why you know you're not good, because you're not where you want to be. You sitting over there jealous of somebody else who look better, who making more money, who riding nice, who smelling better. You over here jealous of that person. Well, then you do got some stuff you need to work on. Because if nothing else, you should be looking over at that person and getting motivation and going, you know what? Let me motivate. And if you really understood, then you would say, you know what? Let me figure out how I can open up and give more. Because, you heard this, the universe is just one big banking system. So you got to deposit in order to withdraw. You can't just be withdrawing. If that's all you're doing, then that's why you're stagnant. Because you're probably just putting in just enough so that you can get out just enough to live off on and live your mediocre, regular, normal life. But you got to put something extraordinary out there in order to pull out something extraordinary and live that extraordinary life. It's just that simple. So then we have to figure out, how do I give? What do I give? How do I see it? How do I work with my ego so that my ego serves my soul? And how do I handle that? So there's all of that you never get it done. We're always working on it. I was just sitting here as I was waiting to go live, and I had the Holy Quran, and I asked Allah, I said, Allah, give me something that I need today. And He gave me something. And it was something very personal and very intimate. And I said, look at that. And so that reminder, when we get done later today, I'm going to go and meditate on that. I'm going to go and think about that. What's the right combination of being of service? Some of us are just isolated. We just off to ourselves. We by ourselves. We don't never interact with nobody. We don't never connect with other energies so that we even know where we are on the scale. We don't connect with other energies so we can get motivated and feel some love. So we just got to heal. And you know what your stuff is. You know what your crap is. And if you don't know what it is, then you got to be open to being shown it and being open to even considering it. And I'd encourage you to evaluate every aspect of your life and just go, all right, let me look at this. Let me look at my relationship with my parents. Let me look at my relationship with my siblings. Let me look at my relationship at work. Let me look at my relationship at church. Let me look at my relationship at the mosque. Let me look at my relationship with my business. Let me look at my relationship with myself. Ooh. Let me look at my relationship with that little girl in me. Let me look at that relationship with the old lady in me that I'm working to become. What is that? So, like I said, I see myself across timelines, and I connect across timelines, and that's important to me. All right. So if y'all enjoying this chat, hit that super chat button. Make sure you support. You can support Cash App, $ Sajdah Enterprises, or you can hit the super chat on here and help support the platform. Again, I believe we're going to be ready. I'm 90% certain, 10% chance that we're not, but we'll be ready Thursday to do a little launch party for the NFTs. But you will need this commemorative Elijah coin, not this one. This one does not give you the membership benefits, and you don't have that membership number that's on the back of here. Y'all see that number? You don't have that number with this coin. It's beautiful. It's a vibe. But I've been telling y'all, get your commemorative Elijah coin. So I'm gonna send you to a place. I'm gonna tell you what it is. You're gonna go. You're gonna put this number in. The correct number is already in the database. And so you just have to attach a name, address, and some other stuff to it. And then you'll be sent over your NFT. And we're going to talk and educate you a little bit on the value of the NFT. We're going to talk about, we're going to talk a little bit about just how to look at it, about that digital asset and what's so important about it. Because at the end of the day, people around the world are going to wish that they had that. And if you don't have it, you're going to wish that you had it. So it's not too late. Jump out there, go to supportsajdahouse.com or contact one of our experienced reps, Sister Dawn, Sister Zakia, Sister Anissa, Sister Audrey. Reach out to one of them. You can reach out to Sister Aletha. She'll help you. Or you can email, as the instructions are there. Get your commemorative Elijah coin. If you ask me in the email, then I'll honor the special sale that's going on, because it's so important to me that you all get this. This is going to give you so many benefits. You're going to have access to some of the digital content that we have coming out. We got a couple shows we're working on that you'll be able to log in, using your membership number. We have some other digital assets that we're going to be putting out, some really interesting and creative things, and really just making history by taking our history to that next level. So thank you, Sister Alicia. She said, we appreciate you so much, Sister Sajdah. Thank you, sis. Brother Stanley said that made sense. All right. Praise be to Allah. He said, this is a very big deal. I strongly support this digital effort. Yeah. We're long live Muhammad. That's all I got to say. And long live Muhammad means that he lives long and he lives everywhere. We'll help our minister make his word bond. He's already made his word bond with his beautiful self, his golden, beautiful self. I just got chills as I said that. His golden, beautiful self, who you could just literally see the Honorable Elijah Muhammad riding with him. But yes, I'm grateful. Grateful to be living in this day and time. Grateful for the challenges that I've had with this project. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Grateful for what this project has taught me. It has taught me things that I didn't want to learn. It has taught me things that I didn't know I needed to learn. And it's taught me things that I wanted to learn. I'm just grateful for the experience, and I'm honored by it. And I'm just humbled that Allah would help me in this way by giving me something big to do. I prayed for this. Ooh, I cannot pronounce your name, but he said, Alhamdulillah, sister. I'm so grateful for what you have done. All praises due to Allah. Thank you so much, sir. Um, and I talked to you all about what that prayer was. Way back in 1990, I just said to Allah, ooh, I just want to hold post. And that's all I ever did. That's all I ever wanted to do. And then when I was away, I was traveling around the world, I was doing business, and I just kept saying, Allah, I just want to go home. I want to post. I didn't know what that meant. But I did. I just wanted a post, and he gave me a post, all right. A big one that I had to figure out how to do, right? And I don't know if you all know what it's like when you're a manifester and you you have a $5.5 million project and you've got 90% of it, and you have no doubt in your mind that you're going to be able to get that last 5%, but it's the last 5% that has been harder than the 95%. That's a different kind of level of manifestation right there. That is really forcing me to dig deep inside of myself and to be open to ask you to help me with this last 5%. And many of you have been helping. You've done that. We still have sponsorships available. I'm for some reason, somebody asked me the other day, they said, why don't you just keep pushing the sponsorships? Because you might get, you need $350,000. You might get 3 people with 100,000 or something like that. And I said, I know. And the sponsorship, but he just keeps forcing me to push these coins that he came up with. And it's like getting at it at $350 at a time but the sponsorships are still there. And I pray you all support, because that will help me chunk it down. But for some reason, I think that he has something big and something valuable in mind with these coins. And I have not received the download of what that is yet. There's something there. And even I just feel it emotionally through my entire body as I just said it to you. There's something there. So, all right, family, I love you all. Thank you all. Happy Saturday. Make sure hit the super chat, support via Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises. Any amount helps, because as we're doing this, we're still paying to maintain the house. The house is pretty and it's sitting there, but it's not sitting there for free. So it costs a nice chunk of change for it to sit there looking pretty every month. And so we're grateful for how beautiful it looks, but it also comes at a price. So your money helps, your dollars count, your Cash App that you send when you look at the videos count, your super chats over here count. I appreciate it. I thank you very, very much. All right. All praise is due to Allah. So stay tuned to stay close to me on social media. So that I can let you know if there's a launch party that's going to happen on Thursday, and just kind of how we're going to be doing it. I want to do the NFT launch. The thing I'm waiting on is I want to make sure that the forms and the databases are all ready to go. And then we'll come out and give you instructions, if you have the coin, on how to access it and things like that. Okay. Sandra D says, thank you, sister. You're always on. And she got all her emojis here. Membership has its privileges. It sure does. It sure does. And like I said, he has something in his mind and heart related to these coins. And I apologize, I can't articulate it other than what I have been given thus far. But get the coin, get the coin. And if you can be a sponsor, become a sponsor as well. All you got to do is email me, sajdahhouse@gmail.com, and I'll send you the sponsorship package, and you'll get your name on one of the spaces that you end up sponsoring. Okay, family, love you all. Happy Saturday. Let's do some healing today. Let's love on somebody today. Let's take our lives to that next level today. All right, peace and blessings.